And we're live. Hi, everyone. This is Charles Hoskinson live from warm, sunny Colorado. Always warm, always sunny, sometimes Colorado. I hope everybody's having a great day. It is October 1st, 2020. An exciting time, exciting people, exciting project. We had a 2-hour product update yesterday. Just jam-packed, lots of cool things. John Hughes from QVic, the Benin interview that I recently did, which hopefully we should be able to get released soon. And we covered each and every aspect of the product, and it was really just a lot of fun. And you know what? October is going to be even more action-packed. So this is the icing on the cake. You know, we've been through a lot together. We've had to do a lot of work together. But now we're in a wonderful position where we finally get to showcase cool things that are happening, people transitioning to the platform. And that was just a little appetizer for what's going to come. So October is going to be a lot of fun. September, super busy month. We had kind of a slower month in August. People were taking some time off and recovering after that enormous sprint for getting Shelly out. And September was when people came back and really got at full strength. And we did a huge amount of work. Bitrix came back online. Really excited about that one. And we had a chance to release a few node updates, improve all the performance issues that people were having, and get everything back where it needs to go. In October, it's all Goguen related stuff that they're working on and getting done. You know, we already got metadata out, and there's improvements there, improvements to GraphQL, improvements to DB Sync, improvements to Smash, improvements across the board to the node, extended UTXO stuff. It's a lot. There's a lot to think about and a lot to do. But all the teams are working in parallel, and we're also broadening the scope of the project a little bit. We're bringing on a lot of people on the Daedalus side. We're tendering out a bunch of things for an identity center, and then we're going to have some fun talking about that. All that voting stuff that you see on Catalyst on the cell phone, it's coming to Daedalus, and we'll make some improvements there. So voting center, a lot of stuff to do with QR codes, and that's coming soon. Hardware has always been one of those things we keep pushing, and we will get it out soon. I've been dying for it for a long time because I'd like to manage my ADA with Daedalus. So there's going to be a lot of momentum this October, and it's fun and exciting to see. Just every week we have a release. This was not the case a few months back, and now it is, and that's just great. You know, and it's just great to have commercial conversations too. The ERC20 converter, that's our first piece of commercial software where we built it to talk about the process of getting people to move from Ethereum to Plutus, to Cardano, Solidity to Plutus. And boy, that's just great. And there's going to be more of that coming down the pipe. So I just wanted to make a video and just kind of shoot the shit and muse a little bit about all of the things that have been accomplished, and to also take the time to thank the team. They just keep chipping away at these things, and they keep working hard. Boy, it is really showing off now. The consensus redux paper is also out, if you guys missed that. That's the old Ouroboros Scazzero. So this concept of a self-healing ledger. Think about that. Self-healing ledger. So how does a ledger recover when it's been attacked? How does a network recover when it's been attacked? We have solutions in both categories. And that's just so incredible to see that the science is getting to an art, and it's getting beautiful, and there's a simplicity about it that's starting to become apparent, which means we're really getting to the bedrock and how things are approached. And we're starting to talk around what 2021 is going to look like, and all the things that are coming in 2021. And what's nice is that if you look at the beginning of the project, we kind of estimated it would take 5 years to go do something incredibly meaningful. So we spent years of research and then years of engineering, and we said somewhere in 2020 we'll start the commercialization, and the project is really going to start waking up. And actually, we were pretty right in that estimate. We were moving in the right direction all along, but the fact that this year Shelly's shipping and significant components of Goguen are waking up, and Voltaire are waking up, and I just signed the authorization to do all the prototyping for Basho. So Rob will be able to start talking the product updates pretty soon, like Dor is pretty amazing. So all the things we thought could be are actually are happening, and that's cool. That makes me happy. And as we look to 2021, this is about evolution of the platform as a consequence of the use of the platform. I did a long interview with Ben, and actually I talked to Ben for a long time, Ben Goertzel, 6 hours of just math talk, philosophy talk, ethics talk. It was a relentless intellectual exercise because he's an extremely bright guy. He got his PhD in math at 21. And that process was not only fun, but it was very productive in that we were getting down to how will the existence of something like SingularityNet evolve Cardano? And then what is Cardano going to do to evolve SingularityNet? This man wants a AGI. He wakes up every day saying artificial general intelligence. We are going to make that happen. And that's why he created OpenCog. It's why he created SingularityNet. And we look at what we're doing and we look at what he's doing and we see there's synergies in how we approach technology and how we think. So the fact that we can actually have a legitimate conversation about migration of his concepts to our ecosystem, and we can mutually benefit from the creation of new languages to how to use Voltaire to help him get where he needs to go, to creating demand for our platform. That's a very powerful thing. And every single significant partnership here on out, that's the way it's going to be. Whether it be a data product like IPFS or whatever, whoever has expressed any interest or is considering or, whatever it is, if they want to migrate over, the conversation's not about, oh, well, we're better because we're faster. It's about by migrating over, you're going to evolve. And by you migrating over, we're going to evolve. And everything you do, we gain. And everything we do, you gain. So right now they have this hack, the KuCoin issue. And they're saying, God, how do we do a vote? So all this stuff to think about. And then in the future, when we look throughout 2021, they say, well, Voltaire, you have this whole beautiful catalyst framework, all these incredible things that come out of that. And what does that mean? It means that when you have a token in our system, you just get a voting system for free. And soon you'll have all the DeFi and the Oracle and stablecoin and all these things that come, and they're going to be a lot of fun. But you get that for free as a consequence of being in this platform. And all the things you do, we do. So once SingularityNet is over there, then we talk about, hey, maybe we can use some AI to help with this particular product. Like, for example, the network parameters of Cardano or transaction fees of Cardano. Maybe we could come up with a cool way that actually those can be self-regulating through an AI stack instead of human intervention every 3 months or 4 months. This is an example of a collaboration, how we work together and what we do. And that's what's coming as a consequence of these partnerships. So my hope is every month we can showcase something like that. And I told my commercial team, marketing people, said, make that happen. We'll find a way. And certainly there's no loss of people who are very excited about these things and want to do these things. And the ERC20 converter is a phenomenal opener because it means we can literally talk to every single person who's implemented a token on Ethereum and say, are you so happy with paying such high transaction fees? And are you so happy with the poor development experience and the lack of built-in governance and all these other things? Maybe you want to move on over and let's have that conversation. And that's going to be fun to go and compete in that respect. The other side of it is that it's really fun these days. It was so stressful in the pre-Shelley days. There was so much to do, and it was just all toxicity and complaints and trolling and blah, blah, blah. And now it's so much fun. Like, for example, there's a CIP out which is talking about changing the reward mechanism. I forget the name of the CIP, but the fact that the community came together and they actually understood the work we'd done so well that they would be able to actually write a proposal for that. Today I was talking with Dor and Roman, and Roman and Dor were going around a reward function for people who participate in Voltaire. And then we were talking about how do we get both breadth. So making sure that every proposal gets some commentary on it and depth, making sure that the commentary is meaningful. So there's a reward function we're thinking about for that, for compensating experts to participate. And I think, wow, the same thing that happened with the stake pools where they actually have an opinion and they want to change the algorithm will exactly happen there through the exact same process in parallel. And everybody's talking, everybody's thinking. It's really cool. It's really, really cool. And it's such a privilege and it's so much fun. I couldn't imagine 3 years into the Cardano being public that we would have already gotten such a phenomenal community. So in addition to thanking all the people that got us here on my side, I just want to express my heartfelt appreciation and awe over the fact that our community has been able to achieve so much and continues to invest so much. Voltaire has been a shining gem. 2,500 people participating with Idea Scale, and a lot of great conversations underneath the hood for future funds. Fund 2 in itself is super cool, but Fund 3 is going to be even cooler, and so much more to come, especially as we enter into 2021. There are some things in Fund 2 that are pretty exciting to me, like, for example, the prospect of the Cardano effect actually being funded by Fund 2. Philippe and Rick, they put in a lot of work, and giving them more funding means that they'll only be better. But most importantly, the fact that they could just be volunteers come into the ecosystem, and then the blockchain itself pays them to do their job. That's an amazing prospect. And that is an example of a positive feedback loop that provides us the ability to grow, mature, evolve in the right direction. So that gets me super excited in that respect. And I just imagine, where is this going to go? And, how are we going to leverage this to go get the next wave of things? People ask, what's your developer acquisition strategy? You say, I release something and 2,500 people show up and they want to build stuff, hundreds of different proposals. And that's just the starting point. It's going to keep doubling. If I can fund 1,000 applications a month, I think I'm pretty fucking competitive. So 2021 is going to be fun. We think a lot about, what's the end of the 2020 contract and where does that go? As I mentioned before, we don't leave till the job's done. And there's still a lot more to do on the Shelley side. And in the coming months, we're going to keep doing that, like partial delegation and improving the cold-hot environment. And we need at least one iteration on the incentive side to really get it to a point where the system is stable, especially 100% decentralized. So D has to hit 0. So that's one dimension of it. And then the other side, the smart contract side, that's an endless river. You could go on forever. But we have a really good idea with X units and extended UTXO and Plutus and Marlowe. And I want to have an imperative path, procedural imperative path, and a functional path so that both sides are represented. And I think the work that we're doing with QVIC in particular will give us a best-in-class testing strategy for these things. And so in the coming months, we're going to talk about that. And I think we can set some very realistic and reasonable goalposts. Voltaire's goalposts are very self-evident, which are, keep going until the system can actually support itself, meaning that it's reliably funding things and it actually can make decisions on the path forward. And the most significant decision to make on the path forward is going to be, what are the next 5 years going to look like? So what we're going to do is take a step back and write up a big proposal and say, this is where we would like, with partners, lots and lots and lots of partners whom we've accumulated throughout the years. We'd like to take the next 5 years, just like where we started in 2015. The difference this time is we're a lot smarter. We have much better processes. We went from 2 people to 250 people. So I think we can accomplish dramatically more in the next 5 years than we could accomplish in the last 5 years, even though we accomplished more than any other project in the cryptocurrency space by far, academically, in terms of lines of code, in terms of so many different moving pieces and dimensions. The F2 guys are struggling, and they're trying to do the things we've done, and they're starting to realize how incredibly intricate and complicated these things are. And they're not even touching a lot of the stuff that we're flirting with directly. Like, they have no governance strategy at the end of the day. And we do. And ours is a self-evolving system that's quite resilient, and it's growing in the right direction. And in 6 months, it'll be able to evolve itself to the next level, and in 6 more months to the next level. And that's self-evident. We have a beautiful approach for proof of stake, which solved all the theoretical problems. And now we're in a position where we'll have whatever performance we need. And when paired with Hydra and that evolution, we don't need the shard. So they chose an incredibly complicated path for really no upside. And they don't even have all the stuff we have, not to mention the layer 2 portfolio that we've been building out and all the wonderful things there, from what we've done with Prism, where we make identity a first-class citizen. And there's great standards like the universal wallet standard we see at the W3C and so forth that we are competitive for. And when we talk about regulatory realities like the FATF or these things for exchanges, we have beautiful solutions that are just there and they work nicely. And it's just not evident. And it's not a first-class citizen in the Ethereum ecosystem. So I like our prospects in that respect. And I think we've accomplished so much more And it's becoming evident to the space, which is why we're under more criticism and more notoriety. And we see some cases bitterness from other projects or fear from other projects. The most curious thing is this is the first year of my life that Adam Back, the CEO of Blockstream, is actively attacking me. And he plays it off like, oh, I don't know anything about that project, and I don't read their papers, and I don't care. Then why are you talking about me over Twitter there? Didn't talk about me in 2019, 2018, 2017, 2016, 2015, 2014. We knew each other, ran into each other, went to the same parties. But today, now you just can't resist but mention tweets of mine from 2014 when I was the CEO of Ethereum. Can't resist but talk about me. Why? Because he's scared. They're scared. They realize that all the stuff that Bitcoin does well and all those arguments they have for Bitcoin, perhaps they're going to go toe-to-toe with Ethereum, and they have some advantages there, but we're better in that respect. They say UTXO is vastly superior to accounts. And I say, yeah, I agree with you. That's why we built a better one, the extended UTXO. How about that? They say, oh, well, we got a much better approach for smart contracts with this Taproot and all these shenanigans. And I said, it's a pretty good approach. I agree with you. Which is why we built a better one, Plutus. And they say, but proof of work has so many great security properties over proof of stake. And I say, well, that may have been true back in the day, but then we took the time to actually understand what they were and prove that we have them, and we don't have to spend all that electricity. We're 1.6 million times more power efficient. Like, ooh, that's scary. It's very scary. So it actually gives me a lot of encouragement. We're getting people migrating over. We have a very bright future, and we kind of have a natural resting point where we can all take a break as a community and ask ourselves, well, what do we want the future to be? I built Cardano to be an entry point to the concept of economic identity in the developing world and the ultimate platform to remove commercial friction in the developed world. The concept of economic identity to me is saying, hey, I want to be able to get a bank account. I want to be able to do business online. I want to be able to get a credit card. I want to be able to get a loan. I want to be able to get an insurance policy. I want to be able to get an education. These are things that we all take for granted in the developing world, in the developed world. In the developing world, they're not self-evident. It's very hard. And the people who get these things are the exceptions to the rule. They won the genetic lottery. They were born to the right family, or they were very lucky, but it's not the standard. And so we say, well, if Cardano is to be successful as a platform, it ought to be able to do that for them. And in the coming months, we have some really cool projects that we're starting to work on that I think are showcases in what we mean by economic identity. Don't listen to me. See the things that we do. See the people that we're working with and what we actually accomplish over an arc of time with them. And then on the commercial friction side, that's all about saying, hey, we all need to work together in a modern society, in a modern environment, a global economy. We all have to be together. If you're Ford and you make cars, do you think they make every piece that goes into that car? Do you think they own every distribution point, every mechanic, all these? No, there's hundreds, if not thousands of distinct actors and entities that have to come together to give you that Mustang, to get it into your driveway. And if any one of them screws it up, the product doesn't ship properly, or it has a poor outcome for the customer. What do you think the cost is to orchestrate all of that, especially when it goes wrong? The part that people misunderstand about blockchains and business is it's not about being a database. It's about being a relationship and trust engine. It is the connecting tissue that puts all of these different entities together with a logic that holds them accountable for doing the things they commit and having immutability, auditability, and timestamping and oversight in that business logic. And when we talk about a hyper-connected world, you ask yourself this: if you get sick and you're abroad, how do you get your medical records to that doctor abroad? If that's a hard problem, then we have a problem with society in general. And it is a hard problem. So what's the solution? You need a blockchain. And we designed Cardano with a very particular view that you can do that at some point. That's how we would like to evolve the platform. So the next 5 years, when we look to 2025 from 2021's vantage, the discussion we're going to be having is, let's really dig into commercial friction and economic identity. And let's really talk about what do we need to build to realize the ultimate platform for these things. The last 5 years were about giving us the right to have that dream, that ambition, and that question, and to put us into the top 10. and to get us to a point where we were competitive with the rest of the cryptocurrencies. And we are, but I'm not content with that. I have never been content with saying we did something cool from a scientific side, or we're in the top 10, and be like Charlie Lee with Litecoin and say, okay, mission accomplished, go do something else. No, the definition of success for me is let's get to 1 billion people. Let's go change the world. And that's what the next 5 years are about, is having that conversation, not by ourselves, not in a laboratory, not with engineers in a room saying, well, what do you think? No, it's having the conversation with all of you, and we'll present just like you guys are right now with Idea Scale. Your ideas are ideas, and we'll sort it out as a community together. Some of it is about cleaning up some things that we'd like to clean up, and performance improvements and these things. Some of it's about extending new capabilities. Some of that is about hardening security against emerging threats like quantum computers and these things, which are not a problem today, but will be a problem in 10 to 20 years. Some of it is about exploring completely new avenues of science that have never been explored before. And if we get it right, we get exponential new capabilities and wow factors that just blow your mind and so forth. So it's like any good story. It has some twists and turns and some real magic surprises along the way. And it has a journey that you go on. And I look to 2021 and I say, boy, that journey is going to be fun, and it's going to be exciting, and it's going to be powerful for all of us together. And I know exactly where I'd like to go with it, my company and what we want to do. We're a mission-oriented organization at the end of the day, and we wake up and say, are the things that we are doing contributing to the growth of economic identity in the world with principles or not? It's just that simple. It's always been that way. We needed to get to a point where we had the platforms necessary to build on to ensure that. And there's a lot more to do above and beyond even what Cardano can accomplish. But at the end of the day, we never forgot that principle. And so when we look at deals, I say, how do we do these deals? Some cases we have to solve huge technological problems. Like, how do you get all this stuff to work offline when people don't have internet? That's a tough one. And we have some ideas about it, but at the end of the day, it's going to consume a lot of time of my life. But it's a life well spent, because if we get it right, millions of people, if not billions, will live life better. That's what Cardano has been about. That's what we're trying to accomplish here. And you know what? We went from an idea to having a fighting chance at that future in less than 5 years. That's a job well done in a certain respect. So this is going to be a fun year to close out. And the next quarter, it's a little bit of an overflow for things that we would have liked to have gotten done this year. And, we'll clean it up. And then I'm real excited about where 2021 is going to go. So I just wanted to make a video and tell you guys all of that. And also thank you guys and say that our spirits and morale and mood has never been higher. And our excitement has never been higher as a project. All facets of the project, from the foundation to Emergo to the rank and file people. And there's a little bit of friction here and there, always is, because people are people, society. It's how it works. But all things considered, every week we see more progress, and we keep coming along. And we are able to accommodate ever more complex work as we keep chipping away and as we keep doing these things. And I have never had more fun. Maybe I'll start losing some weight, regrowing my hair, and not looking so old, being an old man. And who knows? All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Just some brief thoughts. And hopefully I can convey the hope that I have and the overall mirth of the day. October is going to be a fun month. And this is going to close out a very fun year. Cheers.